Assalamu alaikum crypto arkadaşlar and ZKGM. Today we have a lot of updates, but first off, we are very proud to come back to Istanbul next week and to also have official participation from the government of Turkey, represented by TÜBİTAK, that is going to be on a panel next Wednesday in Istanbul at the Hun Spaces. There are free tickets. We are severely oversubscribed though, so if you want to really come, then please also drop us a message, and then we'll see and make sure that you will get a seat. But we also have David giving a presentation on Babylon. We have speakers from the Avalanche Foundation, Cito, very interesting project, also Starkware, and Barry Cosio at Interchain Labs is going to be there. And this entire trend is also visible in our lineup for Cosmoverse. So from the speaker announcements that we've done already, we have a very diverse set of Web3 natives across different verticals, from Bitcoin to EVM to AI, Cosmos natives, non-Cosmos natives. So we really have a very diverse set, also with their kind of geographic locations. We have people already registered from 30 plus countries worldwide. And one organization that I'm very proud that we have landed for Cosmoverse is the Central Bank of Croatia, that is going to officially participate at Cosmoverse, represented by Linardo Martincevic, who is going to be on ground for all 3 days at the conference. And he is not only part of the Croatian Central Bank, but because Croatia is also in the European Union, Linardo also helped shape the digital euro. So he's part of a high-profile, high-level workforce on the European level, so led by the European Central Bank, where he's also involved to actively shape the digital euro. And if you have followed any news lately, the ECB just recently announced that they're also now exploring public blockchains for their CBDC issuance. And I'm having a lot of meetings in the recent weeks, not only with governments, but also with other central banks. In fact, we're talking to a lot more central banks right now. And the great thing about hosting customers in a region like Southeast Europe, Croatia, Serbia, Hungary, Romania, Slovenia, all these countries are very interested to join this dialogue, to meet founders, to meet builders, and they're also very proud of their region, of their countries. So doing it in a location like this is actually perfect, specifically for the ongoing kind of narrative that we have in Cosmos, in crypto overall, where now we're seeing more fintech, governments, policymakers on the table. But that's not all. We also are very proud to announce that Revolut is going to be at Cosmoverse. So Revolut Europe, which has 40 million users, represented by Andreas Bicheka, who's been with Revolut since day one. He's a member of the supervisory council at Revolut Holdings Europe, and he will be at Cosmoverse and talk about Revolut, also connect with Web3 builders, with Cosmos builders. So that is the vibe for this year. And we have a bunch of other speakers that are also in that field. We also, just before that, announced Boston Consulting Group also going to be there. We already announced that Anina Milanovic from the Serbian SEC Securities Commission is going to be there. We have more policymakers and more people to come. So Cosmos really is the place to be. If you want to speak, we have the speaker application button since many months on our website. So just fill this out. If you have a sponsorship budget, you can type that in here as well. If you don't have a sponsorship budget and you just don't type anything here, or just type 0. And yeah, you just share what you want to talk about, why you want to speak at Cosmos. I want to note, however, that we are seeing, especially now with these wave of announcements, we're seeing a lot of demand for all our tracks, to be honest. So yeah, if you want to apply, be quick. Now, switching gears, the Cito Perps Wars trade competition is officially on. After a 5-day registration period where we saw huge demand, especially on day one, we reached 500 signups in no time. So we actually increased the caps. Now registration is closed. So if you missed that registration window, unfortunately, you cannot participate in this specific round. However, there will be a second round in a few weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks, we will reopen registrations. But for those that managed to register and are now participating in this competition, I want to remind you to also fund your account ASAP, because this is one of the most important requirements to be fast on that, and also to start trading. In this competition, in the end of the day, is measuring PNL. So if you have the highest PNL for the next 2 weeks, then you will get a $1,500 incentive, a $1,500 reward. And in fact, we're going to have 10 winners. So the likelihood that you will win something here is very high. So start trading now. Get an advantage over other traders. And if you miss the first round registration, then stay alert, because in 2 or 3 weeks, when the first round ends, we're going to reopen registrations and then you have to be there, you have to participate if you are a professional trader, if you know what you're doing, and especially if you're trading on other perps dexes like Hyperliquid or centralized ones like on Binance, on OKX, then this is probably a good way for you to give it a try, especially if there's an incentive for it, to give it a try, to get a feeling for the platform, for the exchange, for liquidity, for execution, for the UX, UI, and if you maybe have some feedback here to improve for the dYdX perps platform, then please let me know here also below in the comments, is also to improve the platform. And speaking of improvements for dYdX, they have just shared a roadmap update and some exciting new features are coming here. We have talked about this a couple months ago, how they are now aggressively incentivizing user onboarding and also aggressively rolling out new products to reach new audiences and to also establish new revenue streams. So one of the things that is coming, Telegram trading. This is actually coming in September. So next month, I mean, tomorrow is September 1st, and they also have a $3 million incentive for in monthly rewards to roll out that new product. Then also, very exciting, they are going to launch spot trading. In fact, they have acquired Pocket Protector and they're planning to introduce spot trading to dYdX following that acquisition. Spot trading will be available globally, including the US, and launch with support for Solana. And around that, they're also just improving performance, improving integrations. They have launched Builder Code, something that we also have done a deep dive here in collaboration with the dYdX team that is integrated and used by Crypto.com and already drives $75 million in volumes. So Builder Code's amazing, where you can just implement that into your wallet, into your platform, into your trading platform, and you can basically just integrate the dYdX engine and also generate revenue from that. So if you have a high traffic wallet or trading platform or custody platform, and you just want to also offer perps trading to your clients, then implement Builder Codes. We did a full video about that just 2 or 3 weeks ago, so check that out. And it's very, very easy to integrate. And speaking of videos, I also want to give a huge shout out to Sepmos from my team, who is now also entering the content arena. In fact, I think I can soon retire here because Sepmos is just an absolute weapon. And so is Tang and also Moses from my team. Big shout out to all of them. They're working very, very hard behind the scenes. Sometimes I think people just think it's me, but there's a whole team behind here. Also Leo and Cody, they're doing all the designs, banners, and graphics and websites, right? The Cito Zone website. But Sepmos made this great video here. He did a full-on presentation with slides and everything, laying down the Celestia bull case. And this is not just Moonboy hopium stuff. This is well-researched, deep dive, factual kind of revenue metrics that are factored in right here. Projections, of course, and yeah, there are some calculations, what ifs. There's also some criticism here. There's also some, question marks around that. But Sepmos breaks it down very, very nicely. In fact, we also just have restructured a little bit the channel. So we have the Cosmos News and Updates playlist, and we have founder interviews. And then we also have Cito Zone, DeFi tutorials, and airdrop guides that are led by Sepmos here. And then, of course, we also have the other channels, Cito Zone YouTube channel, Stake Cito, Cito Espanol, and also the Cosmoverse YouTube channel. Now, let's speak about a few individual projects specifically. One of the biggest moon coin of the week is Cronos Crow. Cronos, also a full-on Cosmos SDK, EVM compatible blockchain that in fact was one of the first ones to implement the Ethermint framework that was pushed over the finish line by the Athmos team back in the day. Now they renamed it into Cosmos EVM. Cronos is also going to be at Cosmoverse. We already have a speaker confirmed here. And Cronos has just made new all-time highs fueled by Trump media that has announced the launch of a new crypto treasury firm that is buying Crow. So Trump media is mirroring the strategy, so MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's Bitcoin approach with Crow. I don't know what the exact kind of thesis behind this is, but this is very, very interesting and a big win, of course, for Crow, Cronos, Crypto.com. That is this whole ecosystem, right? Crypto.com, inarguably one of the most successful retail products out there with their card, with their payment platform and all these things. We also talked about the integration with dYdX Builder Code. So they're also now offering more and more products. In that context, they've also announced a new roadmap. So the 2025-26 roadmap, the golden age of on-chain dominance. You can give it a read here. And this is what is coming for Cronos, of course, now also in sync with the Cosmos roadmap. You're going to see a lot more institutional kind of spillover. So institutions are coming into crypto. Institutions are entering the arena. They want to explore launching their own layer 1 blockchains, like we heard from Stripe that announced Tempo. We have also Google that is going to launch a proprietary L1, which means not built on an existing stack like Cosmos SDK or Substrate, but instead they're going to build their entire own stack from scratch, like Facebook did back in the day, which ended up with the Move framework and Sui and Aptos. So we're going to see what comes out of that. But Cronos definitely one to watch. Also, Babylon, another one that I am, of course, very excited about and bullish, not only because I am an investor into Babylon, for full disclosure here, since 2022, a very long time, but also because I think they're solving a real problem and they're solving it in a very nice and elegant way. And now they're also integrated on platforms like Kraken, which is very important to also keep up the momentum, keep up the growth, and they're kind of positioning in the market as the category creator for Bitcoin staking and really dominate and own that Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin finance, how you want to call it, sector. Now, one of the most highly anticipated many launches is around the corner, and that is Union. The Union U token was just announced, its utility and tokenomics. I will link this article below the video, and also the airdrop claim, pre-claim, because there's some action that you need to take. But this is the Genesis allocation, 21.4% to investors, 14% for the ecosystem, 20% foundation, 20% core contributors, then a 12.5% DAO treasury, and 12% community incentives, of which there's now a 4% of the supply being airdropped that is fully unlocked upon TGE. So there will be future incentives, 8% is reserved for that, but community incentives are fully unlocked when distributed. And in fact, you can already come here and pre-claim your airdrop allocations. The eligibility criteria here is testnet users, then their ceremony participants, Cito yappers, wandering whale shark NFT holders. Big shout out also to the Cito Plus community, because we have received exclusive whitelist slots for Cito Plus members for the wandering whale shark. And now not only did we get a very, very valuable NFT, but also we got an airdrop now for the U token. Also community contributors, ecosystem project contributors, validators, infrastructure providers, and their BTC5 points program participants. Also remember that Union is partially secured by Babylon, so expect also more collaborations there and integrations. Union being a BSN, Bitcoin Supercharged Network, or Babylon Secure Network, however you want to call it. This is the inflation schedule, 6% in the first year, and then the long-term inflation minimum target of 2%. They do not have a dynamic ratio, which means something like Atom or Injective have, where there's a certain goal bonded, and if you're below that, then inflation would increase to incentivize staking. If we're above it, inflation would decrease. So this is a hard-coded inflation schedule that decreases 10% every year until it reaches a 2% inflation goal. And pre-staking now, I already pre-staked my allocation, also is gamified in a way, because you need to have these referral codes. If you have one for me that I can stake 100% of my allocation, please send it to me or comment under this video. Because I need a referral code to get my 100% staked allocation staked. This is the release schedule. The total supply in fact is 10 billion. I think earlier I said 1 billion. But yeah, total supply is 10 billion, same like Babylon, the baby token. And yeah, that's the Union token that is coming very, very shortly. I'll also leave a link to this platform here where you can check your eligibility. And even though this is its own Cosmos SDK build L1, they are doing the token mint, I think, on Ethereum. So they're asking for an Ethereum address right here. And once you see your allocation, you also have to do a kind of humanity check, which, yeah, you have to connect some things, and you can even do like a KYC, show that you're a human, to claim or pre-claim your airdrop. Now, the Union team is fully locked in right now following the launch of the pre-claim platform, but I did reach out to them, and Emir got back to me, the co-founder, with some interesting stats. So number one, 64% of the pre-claim was already claimed within 4 hours. So the Union community, very, very active and claimed that. Then there will be perks and future incentives for those that are staking their pre-claim allocations. And if you manage to stake more, then you also get more incentives, more perks in the future. Then also that the Union team and investors have opted out from staking rewards for the first 12 months. And also Union has jumped to rank 5 on the Messari leaderboard for mindshare. So it is warming up, it is heating up. I've also asked Emir for a comment, and he said that TG is just the beginning. There will be more incentives, airdrop seasons, and new product launches and chain integrations coming very, very shortly. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any feedback for the Airdrop, if you have any trouble, then please reach out to the Union team in their Discord or Telegram. Now, while we have new foundations and teams being established, we also have others that are winding down operations. And Penumbra Labs has just announced exactly that. They have built the Penumbra L1 blockchain, which, according to Ethan Buckman, Cosmos co-founder, is the most advanced fully ZK app chain in the world. And they're also heavily inspired by that for cycles. But now Penumbra Labs has announced the shutdown, winding down their operations. The chain, however, is of course unaffected. The chain is up and running. I guess it is fully decentralized now, but yeah, definitely not a good look for any investor, for any token holder. The tech is out there, of course, but I've said this so many times over the years, whenever there's a new chain launching, I think one of the most important things, beside the tech, of course, is also the core team, the vision and commitment of the founders, early contributors, them going through a full cycle. Is the narrative still there? Is the chain still there? Their BD efforts, their ability to also build a strong brand that also survives a crypto winter, right? And I think that is the hardest part of being in crypto, especially being a founder in crypto, to kind of stay relevant after years, right? And to stay in the game, right? So yeah, I don't really have many comments on that. Of course, as Cito, we are also heavily affected from this because we are a validator on Penumbra. But yeah, we're going to assess the situation here. Then we also have some news from Passage. Lax, Errol, and the Passage team are beyond committed. I think they're living and breathing Passage, which is, I would say, the exact opposite to what Penumbra has done, the Penumbra core team. But Passage is now they have launched a new marketplace, and to celebrate that, they have a little competition going on here where you can win NFTs and also some Passage tokens. Do check it out if you want to participate here. Another airdrop that is coming, a new chain that has just launched, is Intento. The Intento chain is live. That is actually a PSS, partial set secured chain, fully Atom aligned. And not only because they are secured by Atom, but also because they have done the very first stream swap LBP on the Cosmos Hub. So we have a new Atom aligned token that is currently being launched on the Cosmos Hub after StreamSwap was deployed on the Cosmos Hub very, very recently. And this is very cool to see. I do not really know much, and I'm of course not advising you to buy that token right now. I do not have all the information here available. I personally have not bought that token on StreamSwap. I might put in a couple of atoms just to kind of also show support and to also use on-chain products, because StreamSwap is one of the best products, the best product to launch a token in 2025. And now that we have it on the Cosmos Hub, I think this is also very cool to see. Shout out to Intento. They'll also be at Cosmoverse. Very excited to see them coming to life. And sticking to new token launches, we also have updates from Drop Protocol. The Drop token is near. They have now published the Drop Tokenomics, and it's very interesting. Not only their tokenomics, which is 1 billion total supply, 15% is the airdrop, 10% was reserved for the first round of the Droplets campaign, 5% for their second round. And we've been covering this since day one, pretty much. I think even before that, like we have teased this because we've been in touch with their core team for a very long time. But also what's interesting here is that the Lido Alliance holds 10% of their tokens. So very interesting. And also Neutron DAO, very close alignment with Lido and Neutron. If you go through this kind of article here, you also notice a lot of similarities in how Drop Protocol is structured, right? They also have DAO contracts and this on-chain DAO structure. But they're fully focused on liquid staking, and that is very cool to see. So check this out, and you will get an airdrop here if you have been farming the Droplets points, and the airdrop is going to be fully liquid at TGE. So we'll see where this lands. Here's the release schedule, also pretty common, pretty standard here. But yeah, that's it. Now, I'll leave you with some bullish hopium from Nick Crypto, my man from Coinbureau, Nick. Big shout out. And he's saying, all season still in play. A bullish signal just flashed. The others versus BTC chart is about to have a golden crush. So maybe it's hopium, maybe it's Moonboy Mass, but maybe it's also a pivotal turning point for altcoins. We'll see where this goes. Of course, here at Cryptocito, we are bullish altcoins. We are bullish on the Cosmos ecosystem and many projects. Also, of course, outside of Cosmos, but we're mainly focused on Cosmos here. So we'll see. We also have the monthly closing today. So usually there's some volatility around monthly candles closing as well. Now, that's it for today. Happy trading on the Cito Perps Wars competition. Also, get your ticket or apply to speak at Cosmoverse 2025 in Split, Croatia. End of October. We have 2 months to go. Very excited, and we're well on track to make this the best, most exciting Cosmoverse of all time. I'll see you very soon. Until then, stay safe and be good.